The year 2022 was destined to be a challenging one for Chinese real estate developers. As an example, data from the China Index Research Institute showed that land acquisitions in mainland China had dropped by nearly 60% year-on-year in the first quarter. Among the top 100 real estate enterprises, nearly 70% did not acquire any land. During this tough time when many real estate companies had no choice but to lie low, the news broke that the millennium-old Shaolin Temple was going against the trend and acquiring land. On the morning of April 6, 2022, Zhengzhou City listed a piece of commercial land in Zhengdong New District for sale. With an area of 57.25 acres, the land was secured by Henan Tyson Technology Company Limited for renminbi 452 million. It was subsequently discovered by the media that this Tyson Technology was a company that had just been established half a month earlier. Its registered capital was exactly renminbi 452 million, identical to the transaction price of the land, as if it was specifically created for this land purchase. So, who founded this company? The two major shareholders of Tyson Technology are Henan Railway Construction Investment Comprehensive Development Company Limited and Henan Yuanhan Industry Company Limited. The former, Henan Railway Construction Investment, holds 51% of the shares, while the latter, Henan Yuanhan, holds 49%. The former is wholly owned by the Henan provincial government, and the latter is 70% controlled by Henan Shaolin Intangible Assets Management Company Limited. Interestingly, this Shaolin Intangible Assets Company, established in 1998, is one of the most important assets under the Shaolin Temple in Mount Song, Henan. Many of the commercial operations of the Shaolin Temple have been carried out with the involvement of this company. So, who has control of the Shaolin Intangible Assets Company? He is none other than the current abbot of Shaolin Temple, Shi Yongxin. As the current leader of Shaolin Temple, Shi Yongxin's demeanor has always been physically in the Buddhist world, yet mentally attached to the worldly life. Over the years, his extravagant lifestyle has repeatedly drawn widespread attention from domestic and international media. Born in 1965, Shi Yongxin became a Buddhist at the age of 16. He began to take charge of the temple after the former abbot of Shaolin Temple passed away in 1987 and became the 30th generation abbot in 1999. He also serves as the vice president of mainland China's Buddhist Association, president of the Henan Provincial Buddhist Association, and has been a representative of the 9th, 10th, and 11th National People's Congresses of the Communist Party. He is the first monk in mainland China to hold an MBA degree.
Henan's richest person turns out to be the abbot of Shaolin Temple, leaving 1.4 billion worshippers completely flabbergasted, as he sits on a fortune of tens of billions. When the news of him spending 450 million on buying land in Zhengzhou came out, many were baffled, wondering where the money came from in this seemingly humble trade of incense, burning and praying.
According to local media reports, the Zhengdong New District Management Committee plans to build a comprehensive project on this land, which would include a performing arts center, an art exhibition hall, a cultural and creative industrial park, and an international 5-star hotel and serviced apartments. People speculate that the Shaolin Temple's participation in this project could be to stage martial monk performances in the future venues, or to screen snippets from films like Shaolin Temple and Shaolin Soccer to promote Shaolin Kung Fu. In fact, this is not the first time that Shaolin Temple has ventured into real estate. A now defunct company under the umbrella of the Shaolin Intangible Assets Company was previously involved in real estate development. According to a report by the Beijing News, as early as February 2015, Shi Yongxin, the abbot of Shaolin Temple, paid a cheque of approximately 4.16 million Australian dollars to the mayor of Shoalhaven City in New South Wales, Australia, settling the land purchase and restarting the Shaolin Village Property Development Project. Besides building a sub-branch temple in Australia, The project also included facilities like a 4-star hotel with a total investment estimated at renminbi 1.76 billion. This massive investment was a delight to the local mayor, who said the project would create 1,650 jobs and bring an annual income of 132 million Australian dollars. The news exploded across domestic and international online media. However, it was later reported that the residential and golf course projects in the development plan ultimately did not get approved by the review committee. No further news about the project has been heard since then. In the early 1980s, the kung fu film Shaolin Temple caused a global sensation, not only sparking a worldwide fervor for Chinese martial arts, but also making the 1,000-year-old Shaolin Temple famous across the globe. This led to an influx of visitors coming to pay homage, sightsee, and fulfill their dreams of martial arts mastery. As the birthplace of Chinese Central Plains martial arts and Chan Buddhism, Shaolin Temple was catapulted to fame, becoming the uncrowned king of regional popularity. What once was a quiet place for monks to meditate and practice had transformed into a bustling tourist attraction. This significant transition greatly boosted the tourism industry in Henan province. However, it also led to criticism surrounding its commercialization and perceived poor service quality. Still, I must criticize the Shaolin Temple. There are two main issues. The first is its excessive commercialization. You are casually dropped off at a parking station 7 kilometers away from the main site, and then you are charged for it. The same goes for the bus ride back. The second issue is about safety. I had high expectations, but was unable to witness any performance. Indeed, I am greatly disappointed with the Shaolin Temple. Shaolin Temple on Mount Song, out of 7,000 reviews, over 900 are negative. On October 8, 2020, the Hong Kong-listed company China Travel Service 00308.HK announced plans to publicly list and sell 51% of its equity in China Travel Service Shaolin Cultural Tourism Company Limited on the Beijing Stock Exchange on October 9. According to the disclosed annual data, between 2010 and 2012, the ticket revenue from the Shaolin Temple alone amounted to 184 million Hong Kong dollars, 290 million Hong Kong dollars, and 280 million Hong Kong dollars, with visitor counts at 1.85 million, 2.1 million, and 2.49 million respectively. This suggests that in the eyes of investors and local government, Shaolin Temple is seen as a veritable cash cow. In fact, the commercialization of Shaolin Temple began as early as 1998. That year, the temple established the Henan Shaolin Temple Industrial Development Company Limited. Since then, through registering companies, commercial performances, publishing books, producing music, building sub-branch temples, opening online stores, and more, Shaolin Temple has continued to expand its commercial reach. It now spans multiple sectors, including culture, food, pharmaceuticals, clothing, etc. In addition, through temple management, Shaolin Temple has gained managerial rights over other temples, sharing in their revenues. This kung fu economy has long ceased to surprise the market. As revealed by mainland media, as of September 2020, Shaolin Temple had registered over 600 trademarks, more than 80% of which included the word Shaolin. With over 2 decades of relentless development, this ancient temple has quietly transformed into a massive and discreet commercial empire. And yet, the astonishing aspects of Shaolin Temple don't stop there. With the rapid economic development, 5 companies are now under the name of Shaolin Temple: Shaolin Temple Intangible Assets Management Company Limited, Shaolin Joy Company Limited, Shaolin Temple Cultural Communication Company, Shaolin Temple Food Development Company Limited, and Shaolin Pharmacy Company Limited. These are dubbed as 5 money-making treasures. In addition to these, Shaolin Temple receives 30 yuan from each 100 yuan ticket sold to tourists. Data from the mainland professional website Tianyanta shows that Shaolin Temple Intangible Assets Company alone, in which Shi Yongxin holds an 80% stake, has invested in 16 companies with a total investment of more than RMB 80 million. 7 of these companies are still in operation, and Shi Yongxin still holds actual control over dozens of companies. In 2011, the Beijing News reported that Shi Yongxin said in a public speech that Shaolin Temple hadn't done much domestically and that the focus of its development was overseas. Shaolin Temple has directly established over 40 companies in Berlin, London, and other places, and indirectly established some others. The Guardian also reported that Shaolin Temple has an annual income of up to £10 million, a large portion of which comes from overseas, mainly from student tuition, performance income, and filming movies. As early as 2008, Zhejiang Online reported that Shaolin Temple has established schools and groups specializing in Shaolin Kung Fu in more than 50 countries and regions worldwide, with over 3 million international students and a considerable income from tuition fees. Even though the commercial empire of Shaolin Temple is thriving, the public does not unanimously view it positively. A journalist from the Guangzhou Daily once confronted Shi Yongxin, asking, in traditional perception, a temple should be a place of tranquility, but you have commercialized the temple to attract worldwide attention. Isn't this too worldly? Not only that, but on July 21, 2013, the Spanish newspaper Periodical published an article titled Sex, Money and Kung Fu about Abbot Shi Yongxin. The report mentioned that Shi Yongxin has at least $3 billion in deposits overseas and owns villas in the United States and Germany. He was reportedly involved with a famous star and had an affair with a female student from Peking University, with whom he has a son now residing in Germany. In 2015, someone from mainland China came forward to publicly accuse Shi Yongxin of embezzling the property of Shaolin Temple, exploiting women, and having an illegitimate daughter. This controversial Shaolin abbot, worth tens of millions, with his un-Buddhist behavior, has led many people to shake their heads in disdain. Shaolin Temple, as a renowned Buddhist temple in mainland China, an extinct lineage of Chan Buddhism and the birthplace of Shaolin Kung Fu, is located 12 kilometers west of Denfeng, Henan, at the foot of Mount Song's rural peak. It was founded in the 19th year of the Taihe era of the Northern Wei dynasty, 495 AD, by Emperor Shaowen to accommodate the Indian monk Ba Tuo. The temple was named Shaolin as it was built amidst the dense forest Lin in Chinese on Mount Songshan. In the 3rd year of the Shaocheng era of the Northern Wei dynasty, 527 AD, the Indian monk Bodhidharma came to Shaolin and meditated facing a wall in a natural cave on Mount Songshan for 9 years, establishing the Chan school of Buddhism. Since then, Shaolin Temple has been called the ancestral court of Chan. The Chan practice method, called wall gazing, involves meditating facing a wall. Because sitting cross-legged for a long time can lead to fatigue, monks practice martial arts to alleviate physical weariness. Therefore, it's said that Shaolin Kung Fu was founded by Bodhidharma. Buddhist temples should be serene and quiet places, but these days, more than 3 million visitors flood Shaolin Temple every year, making it difficult to sense the solemnity and tranquility of Buddhism. In their place, one finds the bustling noise of the marketplace and an intense worldly atmosphere. The monks in the temple are no longer the immaculate figures of compassion and meditation they once were. Instead, they often engage in vigorous hawking of goods, a worldly behavior that leaves people in shock and disbelief. Netizens have complained about this, saying, Shaolin Temple should be a sacred place in the hearts of all martial arts movie lovers. Famous for the saying, all Kung Fu comes from Shaolin. Shaolin Kung Fu is the best in the world. But most people who visit Shaolin Temple have a feeling of coming in joy and leaving in disappointment. This Buddhist sanctuary is no longer pure, as it's permeated with the smell of money. The inadequacy of the scenic area facilities is also frustrating. Other netizens lamented, "The monks inside Shaolin are all selling things, peddling medicine, selling water." Mount Song is still the same, but Shaolin is no longer the Shaolin we once knew. What's more surprising is that on August 27, 2018, Shaolin Temple held its first ever flag-raising ceremony, a first in the over 1,500-year history of the temple. At 7 a.m. that day, the Abbot Shi Yongxin, along with all the monks of the temple, carried out the national flag-raising ceremony in front of the temple gate. Images from the scene show monks carrying the red Chinese national flag and marching in step, a sight that seemed out of place and laughable. Officials from the United Front Work Department of Dengfeng, Henan Province, the deputy chairman of the Buddhist Association of China, and the president of the Henan Buddhist Association also attended this flag-raising ceremony. According to mainland media reports, on July 31 of that year, at the 6th meeting of the Joint Conference of National Religious Groups, the Chinese Communist government issued a proposal on raising the national flag at religious sites. Immediately following this, Shaolin Temple organized monks for in-depth learning, and Abbot Shi Yongxin decided to take the lead at Shaolin Temple on Mount Song in actioning state flag-raising directives. Similar to the case of Shi Xuezhen, former chairman of mainland China's Buddhist Association, who was reported for sexual assault and ambiguity over massive funds, Shi Yongxin had also been reported multiple times for economic and personal misconduct. It's generally believed that after being embroiled in scandals, Shi Yongxin's decision to raise the flag at Shaolin Temple was an attempt to demonstrate loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party authorities. On March 18, 2021, the Chinese Communist Party convened a national meeting of religious groups, the theme of which was to study the newly revised regulations on the United Front Work of the Communist Party of China, which we'll refer to as the regulations. In addition to the speech given by Wang Zhuo'an, Deputy Minister of the United Front Work Department and Director of the State Administration for Religious Affairs, leaders from Buddhist, Taoist, Islamic, Catholic, and Christian religious groups all committed to aligning their thoughts and actions with the Party Central Committee's decision and deployment, and advancing the so-called sinicization of religions. The meeting stressed that implementing the regulations should be regarded as an important political task, and that greater efforts should be made to promote and guide religious figures and believers. The mainstream ideology of Communist China is atheism. The CCP uphold materialism and never cease to suppress faith communities in mainland China, including Falun Gong practitioners, members of house churches, Tibetan Buddhists, and Uyghurs in Xinjiang. The surveillance and infiltration of existing temples and their followers is suffocating, akin to the stifling atmosphere portrayed in the German film The Lives of Others about East Germany under dictatorship. In reality, there has never been true religious freedom in Communist China. The teachings and admonitions of Buddha have now been cast aside by monks lost in the pursuit of fame and fortune. Shi Yongxin, who has gained both wealth and prestige, being the abbot of Shaolin Temple and a billionaire, unavoidably reminds one of the tragic tale of Faust in Goethe's work, a capable man who was willing to sell his soul for worldly pleasures and riches. We know that all true doctrines teach unconditional self-cultivation for goodness, require individuals to let go of personal desires, and constantly elevate their moral standards through practice, achieving a higher state of life. Unfortunately, the commercialization and politicization of the once pure Shaolin Temple is a microcosm of the reality faced by all religions in China.